Hi, my name is Susan Junda from Dynamic Solutions. I'll be your instructor for the next 3 days. So why don't you just put down your pens and pencils for a minute, sit back and relax, and I'm going to put in front of you a scenario. See if anything I say resembles anything in your project arena. You know, we all start our careers and go into an arena where we become adept at something. We either become a great engineer, we become a great accountant, we become a great scientist, we do something really, really well. And eventually, someday, a boss comes to you and says, here, take this document, which is a project, and gather these people, and why don't you go make this happen? So all of a sudden, this subject matter expertise you have is now being thrown into a new arena. Well, as you read this document, you realize this is going to challenge your skills at a new level. First of all, you're going to have to get a better definition of the project and find out what stakeholders want and what they really need that's not on the piece of paper, because it's never only on the piece of paper. Then you're going to have to plan at a detailed level well enough to give your stakeholders what they want, when they want it, in the time frame and budget given. And then you're going to have to do this, oh, by the way, with a team of people that can be exhibiting anything from excitement about being on your project team, maybe a little hesitant about being on your project team, or maybe even being downright angry at having been assigned to your project team on this project. Well, welcome to the world of cross-functional project management. It's the computer age, right? So a lot of people in this situation, project managers or ones that are thrown into it, will go sit down at their computer and start playing with software right out of the get-go. So they start typing in there in some kind of software system, project software, all the tasks that have to happen, who needs to do what, the time frame it needs to be done in, and they hit a button, spit out a magic plan, they go to that first team meeting, they hand out the plan to you, the team members, and they say, here team, go do it. I'm excited, aren't you? Yeah, right. So, what's missing in this scenario? Yes. What else? Yes. Exactly. There was absolutely zero participation from the team in this planning. And when you have zero participation, what happens? Yeah, there's no buy-in, there's no commitment, there's no follow-through, and it makes executing a project painful. So let's start with an exercise. You have papers and pencils on your table. Take a paper, take a pencil. I am going to give you 4 instructions. There's no right or wrong. Don't cheat. Don't look at your neighbor's work. And just listen to the 4 instructions and do what I say to do. Okay, now that we've done that, we have some of the examples of the output of our exercise on the flip charts. Look around the room and tell me what happened. Oh yes, they're all different. No one did the same thing on the instructions. And if I was your customer, and say I wanted a perfect square out of these instructions, because it really was the instructions to draw a square, and I got one of these other pieces of art instead, what would happen? Well, I wouldn't be too happy, would I? Whose problem is it? What do you mean it's mine? I'm your customer. You can't tell me I'm wrong. So what's going on here? Exactly. You have to get a better project definition at the beginning of the project. You have to learn how to ask better questions before you take action. So we will be covering more on this, about doing a stakeholder review, analyzing stakeholders, coming up with questions so that you can get your project on the right track. You know, the time spent up front, the payback is in the smoother execution. I've always said, if you plan well, execution should be a breeze. If you do not take the time to plan well, what's execution like? And keep it clean, okay? Yes, it could get very, very painful. So let's move on to doing some introductions, and then we'll move on to the material.